Jacksonville voters, who do you want to represent you on City Council? Today we're asking questions that so many want answered. The two candidates in this month's special election join us. We'll talk about the recycling and trash frustrations and how to solve other local problems. Tracy Polson and Nick Howland on This Week in Jacksonville. Now, many people in Jacksonville have their eyes on what happens in 2023. That's when the mayor, the sheriff, all 19 city council seats are on the ballot. There's another election even sooner, though, coming February 22nd. I spoke this week with Chris Hand, a former chief of staff in the city of Jacksonville. The government law attorney believes that the city is at an historic crossroads right now.
Any election for local government is important because let's remember, the work that is done at City Hall has the biggest impact on our everyday lives of any level of government. There's a lot of attention on Washington and particularly on Tallahassee during the annual legislative session, like right now. But the work that occurs in local government is the work that most substantively and immediately affects our lives. So it really matters who holds the positions at City Hall, and it really matters.
Well, this morning, we are joined virtually by the two remaining candidates in a special election for City Council. The winner will fill the remaining term of the late Tommy Hazouri. So in alphabetical order, I'll introduce Republican Nick Howland and Democrat Tracy Polson. These were the two top vote getters in December's special election. So this is an informal debate where there's not a strict keeping of time, but I've asked each of the candidates here to keep responses to about 60 seconds. For each of you, would you take a moment and introduce yourself by answering the question? Dr. Polson, if you'd begin, what are the big issues in Jacksonville that you want to make a difference on?
Well, thank you for having us. Hi, everybody. I'm Dr. Tracy Polson. I'm a mom and wife, and I'm a licensed mental health professional with my own business, where I work every day with people who are suffering from the aftermath of traumatic experiences. I've been doing this work for years. And during this campaign, we've been talking about the importance of the legacy of Tommy Hazouri, but also I've been talking about the lack of trust by our city officials and that we need to do more to engage voters, to engage folks, to let them know that we are working for them. So we're talking about the need for transparency, accountability, and people who are elected to city council listening to voters. I've been working hard during this campaign to do that, to listen to you, to host town halls on topics that you've told me are important to you. And I'll continue to do that after the election. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Nick Howland, if you'd take a moment to introduce yourself and answer that same question.
Sure. Thank you, Kent. Well, thanks for having this debate. Really appreciate it. Kent, I'm a Navy veteran. I'm a business executive. I'm a husband. I'm a father of two teenage boys. 15 years ago, my wife and I relocated to Jacksonville for Armor Holdings, the life-saving product manufacturer. And I kept working in that industry for a number of years. We raised our two boys here. And about 2 years ago, I stepped out to run the Fire Watch, which is Northeast Florida's fight to end veteran suicide. When the opportunity came up to run for City Council at large, Group 3, I jumped on it because, as you said in the intro, as Chris Hand stated, we're at a critical juncture for our city. We're at about 1 million residents now. We project being at about 1.3 million residents by 2030, the time the next census is taken. We're on a growth trajectory. And I believe my experiences will help guide this city forward. My platform, to me, the most important and critical issues facing our city is support for JSO, namely support for those who protect us, not only the police, but the firefighters, our military service members, our veterans. Also creating jobs. As our city grows, we need to create jobs, and I would focus on manufacturing and logistics jobs. All right. And then finally, we need to make sure that we don't leave any neighborhoods behind. As we grow, we need to make sure that we're looking out and improving the quality of life in our existing neighborhoods and in those neighborhoods yet to come. Those are the skill sets I bring. That's why I'm running for City Council.
I appreciate it from both of you in that kind of introductory statement. I want to talk about some scenes that we're going to show some video on here. The city suspended curbside pickup of recycling, and that has led to an outcry from people about turning park sites into trashy lots. There are complaints about where the tax revenue is going. Do you see an end to this waste pickup and recycling crisis? And Nick Howland, if you'd answer first, how does it get accomplished?
Well, I look forward to being part of the solution. I mean, I'm as frustrated as anybody else. We're not getting a service that we're paying for. But there are broader economic factors at play here. We know that inflation is sky high right now. We know it's a tight labor market. And those hauling our yard waste, our garbage, our curbside recycling cannot keep staff. So we need to figure out how to get a solution and get curbside recycling back right away. But also we have systemic issues that play here. You know, we're a city, again, of 1 million people, and we have one landfill. That's Trail Ridge, way outside west of the city, even beyond Baldwin. So it takes 3 hours to haul trash from the Intercoastal West area all the way out to Trail Ridge. So that's something that we've got to solve as well moving forward, and I look forward to being part of the solution and getting curbside recycling back.
Tracy Polson, what about you? How do you see an end to this waste pickup and recycling crisis?
Well, it's been over 3 months since we suspended it, and I think that it's a matter of political will and political courage. This problem can be solved, and I think Jacksonville taxpayers are looking for leaders who will make sure that their problems are solved, like curbside recycling pickup. It's one of the things that I'm hearing a lot from folks. They don't understand it. The current administration is doing nothing to keep folks informed of where they are in terms of solving this problem. I commend Council members Carlucci, DeFore, Priestley Jackson, and Joyce Morgan for holding town halls to engage the public, to tell them where they are in trying to solve this problem. When I'm elected, I will work alongside of them to solve it.
All right, thank you both. So let's talk a little bit about how you feel about the COVID-19 response in our city, and in your view, what needs to happen in 2022. Dr. Polson, any changes or status quo on what we're already doing?
I think the way that the mayor first began to address this way back in the early days of the pandemic with mandating masks and being very careful, I thought that was wonderful. Obviously, this has continued to go on for far too long. I think we need to get our vaccination rates up. I was particularly impressed with the public-private partnership between the Jacksonville Transportation Authority and Agape Health Centers, bringing vaccinations, bringing testing, and most of all, bringing public education to folks to let them understand more about this virus and how if we work together, we can reduce the death rate as well as the infection rate.
Thank you very much. Nick Allen, what would you say on that in terms of the response and what maybe needs to change in 2022?
Yeah, I also applaud the administration's response from the onset of the COVID crisis. I mean, if you're driving a ship and you enter unknown waters and something is upsetting you and you don't understand it, you go to all stop. You assess the situation and then you proceed cautiously. And that's how the administration has moved forward. And I agree with most of the steps that they have taken. I also look at the COVID testing sites right now. They've partnered with FEMA. They've got 4 that are up and running for free COVID testing. I think they've placed them at places where folks are at the highest risk. They've partnered with Lyft, with JTA to get folks rides to those COVID testing sites so it's not a financial burden. I think we're moving in the right direction. And I look forward, again, to being part of the solution if this pandemic continues.
I appreciate that from both of you. So we're going to take a short break, but downtowns define cities. That's a common perspective. How do you make a downtown thrive? We're going to ask the candidates as we continue on This Week in Jacksonville.
It's the weekend, and we know accidents can happen anytime. That's why we're here for you 24/7. Don't wait until Monday. Call Farah & Farah.
You're going to hear a lot about how I'm, for defunding the police.
Tracy Polson's extreme agenda hurts Jacksonville and puts us all at risk.
Tracy Polson attacks law enforcement and makes Jacksonville less safe.
That's why out-of-state donors are pouring thousands of dollars into her campaign to make Jacksonville more like San Francisco.
You're going to hear a lot about how I'm, for defunding the police.
But veteran Nick Howland shares our values and is ready to lead.
Nick Howland is the proven leader we can trust. That's why he has my full support.
Get moving and join Channel 4 on March 5th for the Gate River Run. Register today at GateRiverRun15K.com.
Love is in the air.
On The Real, February is all for you, Real fam.
We're going all out all month.
We're feeling very generous today.
We're sending you all $5,000. Star-studded.
Weekdays at 1 on Channel 4.
The Stanley Steamer started with one man, a van, and a whole lot of carpet. We've been innovating for a long time. Stanley Steamer now goes beyond carpet. We've been cleaning tile and grout, upholstery, rugs, air ducts, and a whole lot more. We don't just clean carpets, we clean homes. So when your home needs a cleaning, give us a ring at 1-800-STEAMER.
This winter, Comcast Business is helping Team USA and businesses across America stay ahead. Keep yours ahead too, with reliable connectivity and secure solutions on the network that can deliver gig speeds to the most businesses. And get access to over 20 million Wi-Fi hotspots from coast to coast. So no matter what big event comes up, your team can be ready for what's next.
Get started with internet and voice for $35 each a month when you buy both. Plus, ask how to get free installation and 1 month free.
Every lawyer at Harrell & Harrell is part of Harrell & Harrell. It's about everyone that you have in the process to help that client. And using all of that, we have the size and the resources to take on any company, no matter how large.
Kidnapping is an ever-present risk. So what can parents do today to stop their worst nightmare from coming true?
We don't teach stranger danger anymore. Abductions don't just happen by strangers.
The I-Team, empowering parents, exposing abductors' tricks of the trade.
It allows predators to gain more access to our children.
And I'm revealing the digital trail that can lead abductors right to your kids and how to disrupt it.
Evading abduction. Monday starting at 5 on News 4 Jax. You're watching This Week in Jacksonville with Kent Justice.
And today we're talking about the issues with candidates for Jacksonville City Council. There's a special election this month. Tracy Polson and Nick Howland are with us virtually. We're alternating responses from each candidate. I've asked each person to limit their response to about 1 minute. Mr. Howland, you've got an ad that is flooding Jacksonville's airwaves right now that states Ms. Polson wants to defund the police. Do you stand by that ad?
I do, absolutely, Kent. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing more important in this election than support for our public safety right now. My plan supports JSO in their efforts to retain officers, and their efforts to hire more officers, and their efforts to bring technology to our city to keep our streets and our neighborhoods safe. Hers redirects funding to mental health co-responders. It means there's less officers on the street, and it lengthens the response time to respond to 911 calls. And, you know, the sheriff, the police, and the firefighters agree. They think her plan will make Jacksonville less safe, and they endorse me.
All right, Dr. Polson, do you believe in defunding the police as that ad portrays?
No, and this is a lie, and Mr. Howland knows it. I have been talking about a program that is already in existence at the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. It is the Mental Health Co-Responder Program. And this funding comes from a grant. It's been so successful that they've already expanded it. When Tommy Hazuri was president of the city council, brought together the Safer Together committee. And this is one of the recommendations that came out of that committee. And what it does is it prevents people from being put in jail who need treatment. That in and of itself saves money. This is a mischaracterization of my plan. Mr. Howland, you know it, and I would really encourage you to stop lying about me because it is not true. I was a participant and graduate of the Citizens Police Academy last year. I've been along on ride-alongs. I support the police, firefighters, first responders, period. They know it and you know it.
Kent, can I reply to that?
All right, Mr. Howland, go ahead and reply to that.
Yeah, I mean, my opponent's plan will increase mental health co-responders above what's existing in the budget right now, which leaves less money for police officers. That's defunding. My opponent's biggest supporter proposed the people's budget last year, which would have slashed JSO's budget in half. That's defunding. My opponent often cites and supports the recommendations of the Safer Together report, which talks about redirecting JSO budget money to community activities. That's defunding. But you don't have to believe the sheriff or the police or the firefighters. You can look directly to the Safer Together report. And if you look at the bottom of page 11, last paragraph, I'm going to quote it. It says, when discussing defunding the policing in this report, we are discussing moving budget allocations around to help create solutions, such as funding the co-responder program to ensure that each zone has at a minimum of one mental health professional on each shift. So that is her favorite report, calling her biggest proposal defunding the police.
All right, Mr. Hallett, I appreciate that. Dr. Paulson, about a minute to respond to that, if you'd like.
Yes. So like I said, the funding from this comes from an outside grant. I think when we get into this all or nothing, black or white narrative and divisive tactics, we really forget that what we're trying to do is solve important problems and make the community, police and citizens safer by, like I said, expanding a program that is successful, that is working. We need to solve problems and not just use rhetoric that is meant to just distract from the fact that this program is working and it makes our community safer.
All right, thank you, Dr. Paulson. So I want to shift to what's happening in downtown. There are plans to develop downtown Jacksonville, plans for the South Bank as well as the North Bank, plans for the shipyards, the sports complex. Development costs money, though, often as a public-private partnership. Do you support the expenses associated with that development? Nick Howland, if you'd answer first here. What are some examples? I'm sorry, Dr. Paulson, you answer first here. What are some examples where that price tag may just be too much?
Well, I think that depends. And one of the things that we've been talking about in this campaign is the importance of making this sort of information accessible to voters. These are our taxpayer dollars. So for example, there's a lot of things that are happening that are really exciting. The Emerald Trail, Mosh, mixed use development downtown with apartment buildings and restaurants and retail and music venues. Each one of them has a different term sheet. And this is information that needs to be made accessible to voters, to taxpayers, so that they understand X amount of their dollars are going to this project and what the return on investment is for that, and that they should have a voice in that. When I'm elected, that will be one of the many things that I do, which is to talk about the Lara Trio project and to talk about that after 8, almost 12 years of delays, what those delays are about, and that there's a 24% increase in those costs and what that means in terms of taxpayer dollars. So I think it's a complicated question, and I think that there are a lot of different answers depending upon the actual project.
Nick Howland, how do you feel about that? What are the answers for downtown development?
Yeah, and I get this question a lot, and my answer is generally I don't look at the Landing or Berkman 2 or the underutilized river as a bunch of past failures. I look at them as great opportunities. I see our downtown as a blank canvas for growth and opportunity, and we're so fortunate to have what most other cities in this country don't have, and that's a wonderful low-tax environment, a great climate, a river, an ocean, a waterfront, plenty of green space, and great people and great partners to develop with. So, I look at some of the projects going on, some of the same ones my opponent mentioned, Lower Street Trio and Mosh. I also look at the Shipyards project, potential stadium renovation, and again, my personal favorite, the USS Orlick, myself being a veteran of a destroyer veteran, and I'm excited about what we have as an opportunity in the future. And that is why when I was on the Charter Revision Commission, I was behind the proposal of a strategic planning commission that would look at developing a 10-year strategic plan for the city that governs not only our development downtown, in the urban core, in the outskirts of the city and the county, but also where we want to be as a city, what kind of jobs we attract, and what kind of quality of life we want to have moving forward to the point where when we reach 1.3 million people, we're truly a great American city.
If you just give brief answers here, maybe 30 seconds or less, but on downtown development, Mr. Howland, do you feel the Downtown Investment Authority is effective? Would you change it given a chance?
No, I love DIA. In fact, I've been behind the proposal of the Urban Core Development Authority, modeled after DIA, to focus public-private investment in our northwest quadrant, where we've left behind citizens with infrastructure development. And getting back to incentives, which I didn't address in the first part of my answer, I support incentives for development and for relocating businesses to our city where they make a positive return on investment. And I'll always be a good steward of taxpayer dollars. That's why people will elect me.
Dr. Paulson, what about DIA? What are your thoughts on how that agency has performed here in this decade?
Absolutely. And I think what we saw during the Lot J debacle was when folks went outside of DIA and tried to ram through a project that would have been a disaster for taxpayers. So DIA needs to vet every project. Like I said, My job as city council member is to also engage the taxpayers and the public and explain to them exactly what funds will be used from the city and what their return on investment is. I will work for you and not just for the developers.
All right, so much more to talk about than we'll have time to discuss. We do, though, plan to hear about septic tank phase out, the cost, the decades-long process. City Council candidates Tracy Polson and Nick Howland continue the conversation next on This Week in Jacksonville.
Morgan & Morgan is not only America's largest injury law firm, we're also a local law firm with branch offices right here in your community. We're here for you. Wherever you are, whatever you need, there's only one Morgan & Morgan for the people.
Life happens in the moment, in the quiet and the chaos. You shouldn't have to miss out on all the moments you love just to lose the weight you want. WW's all-new Personal Points program. For the first time ever, your plan is designed 100% for you. Live the life you love. Lose the weight you want.
The all-new WW Personal Points program. Get started for just $10 a month at WW.com. Hurry, offer ends February 7th.
We all know there are days, mountains to climb and battles to face. And all we ever have is one another. So let's promise this, never give up on each other. Never give up, never give up on each other.
Here in Jacksonville, we've seen politicians come and go. We know the games, the good old boys, the empty promises. Nick Howland is another Curry crony, motivated by personal gain. He's bought, he's paid for, and there's no receipt. Now he's using lies to divide our city.
Enough is enough. I'm standing up to the cronyism and corruption that threaten Jacksonville. Vote Tracy Polson for Jacksonville City Council at Large Group 3 for us.
For over 20 years, Subaru of Jacksonville has made the customer experience our top priority. This focus has earned us Dealer Rater's Dealer of the Year time and time again. And Subaru of Jacksonville is here to help you find the perfect Subaru. Take advantage of great pricing and interest rates starting at just 1.9% on new 22 Subaru models, plus a complimentary national lifetime warranty or 2 years maintenance. Experience the Subaru of Jacksonville difference. Your favorite Subaru dealership for a generation and counting.
Drive a Subaru. You'll buy a Subaru.
Inside Edition weeknights at 7:30 on Channel 4, the local station.
Your eyes, beautiful on the outside, but if you have diabetes, there can be some not so pretty stuff going on inside. It's true, with diabetic retinopathy, excess sugar can damage blood vessels, causing vision loss or even blindness. So remember this, now is the time to get your eyes checked. Eye care is important to your long-term diabetes management. See a path forward with actions and treatments from a retina specialist that may help protect against vision loss. Visit nowic.com and take charge of your sight.
When you fall at a place of business, we stand up to the challenge. Farah and Farah, here for you, here for good.
You're watching This Week in Jacksonville on Channel 4.
Nick Howland and Tracy Polson are with us virtually today. I mentioned earlier that consolidated government began more than 50 years ago. This morning, I want to hear from each of you. And Ms. Polson, if Dr. Polson, if you'd begin. As recently as late November, we were reporting on 3 different projects at 3 different stages when it comes to septic tank phase out. We've been following this issue for years. This goes back to the late 1960s. City of Jacksonville contributing more than $82 million in this. JEA contributing more than $52 million. Dr. Polson, should these projects be farther along, and will you push for completion of them, that fulfilling the promise of consolidation that's been discussed?
Well, I think that I don't know whether or not they should be farther along, but I think we have a responsibility to make sure that they're completed, that we have to replace these failing septic tanks. It's promises that were made a long time ago. I will do everything in my power to make sure that that happens. In addition, we have an opportunity to create safer roads and sidewalks and streetlights and a lot of things related to infrastructure that will make our community safer. Jacksonville residents deserve that. Different parts of this community have been long overdue where those needs have been neglected. And I will work hard to make sure that those dollars are spent wisely and that those septic tanks, the ones that are failing, will be removed.
All right, Nick Howland, your view on this issue.
Yeah, you mentioned consolidation. Consolidation was a great idea in 1968, and it's a great idea today. I mean, the financial and the organizational efficiencies that we get out of consolidation are tremendous, but that doesn't mean that we haven't left neighborhoods behind. I served for 8 years on the city's environmental protection board, including the last year as chair, and I could see particularly where the septic tank issue is a problem. In our northwest quadrant, we have a significant amount of septic tanks. The city has valued said the project to remove them all will cost somewhere north of $1 billion. Septic tanks are just one part of consolidation promises unkept. Others are better education, particularly in that part of our city, better infrastructure, potholes, roads, that kind of thing. But one of the most exciting things that I believe is happening is that we've put $100 million into the budget, between 50 for this year and 50 next, to phase out septic tanks. And at the same time, the cost is coming down. JEA put out a report that the new vacuum sewer system technology could reduce the cost of replacing out all of our septic tanks by a quarter. I'm excited about that, and I look forward to overseeing some of those projects while on City Council.
All right, thank you. We're going to take a moment just to hear like a closing statement from each of you. And our conversation today began with Dr. Polson beginning. So Nick Howland, if you'd give a closing statement here, 30 seconds or less.
Yeah, thanks, Ken. Well, Jacksonville's a military town. It's a business town. It's a family town. I'm a veteran, I'm a businessman, and I'm a family man raising my kids here. We're at a critical juncture in our history. There's a lot of work to do to get us where we need to be moving forward. I have the skill set and the experiences to do so. When I look at where we want to be in 10 years, I'm hoping that when my kids are getting ready to raise a family and start a career, they're not looking to Charlotte or Atlanta or Orlando or DC as a place to settle. They're looking at Jacksonville, Florida.
Thank you, Nick Howland. Dr. Tracy Polson, a closing statement for us today.
Thank you, Kent. This election is about the legacy of Tommy Hazouri. I was very fortunate and honored to have his endorsement when I ran for the Florida House in 2018. I've been listening deeply and carefully to you as I've been campaigning over the last 4 months, and I will continue to be your voice for every person here in Jacksonville. We have an opportunity to elect a leader who is trustworthy and will work for you. Thank you.
Thank you. And Election Day coming up February 22nd. Early voting starts February 12th. You can vote by mail now. Thank you to our guests, and thanks for being with us on This Week in Jacksonville.
See why every day more people are choosing News 4 Jax, Northeast Florida and South Georgia's #1 source for local news.